So welcome to all the BSc second year students, semester 4. So the title of my paper is Plant Physiology. Plant Physiology. So in the last class we have seen that is mechanism of transpiration, how the transpiration process takes place. So now today we are going to be dealing about two important things in this chapter, that is absorption of water by plants, then absorption of minerals by plants. So these things are very important, and after that we are going to be dealing about, that is mineral nutrition in plants, mineral nutrition in plants. So and their role, mineral nutrition in plants and the role in plant physiology. So for growth and development of plants. So these three things are very important. So before going to study the mechanism of here, first of all you have to understand what is meant by absorption of water by plants. Which part of the plant is responsible for absorption of water. So as we know, this is the plant, a typical plant, and this is the root system. Just below the soil or inside the soil, there is a system known as the root system, and the part of the plant body which is present above the ground level, it is known as shoot system. So these root system of plant, it is having for example, dicot plants, a prominent root, which is, so today we are going to dealing about absorption of water by plants, then absorption of minerals by plants, then third aspect here is role and physiological role and practical application of these minerals in plants. So mineral nutrition in plants. So these three things are very important. First of all, before going to be dealing about mineral nutrition in plants, so you have to understand the absorption of water by plants, absorption of minerals by plants. So already we have discussed, so this is the typical plants, a portion of the plant which lies underground the soil is known as root system, and the portion of the plants which lies above the ground level is known as shoot system. So this root system is mainly responsible for absorption of water and minerals. Here there are two parts of the root system, that is a elongated portion which runs from shoot is known as taproot system, and another system which is hair-like in structure. For example, in case of dicots, there is a taproot system. In case of monocots, there is a fibrous root system. Adventitious root system. So here, these fibrillar structure, the fibrils which are present in the taproot system, are mainly responsible for absorption of water. And so elongated taproot system, just above the cap of the root, there is a specific zone where there is absorption of minerals take place. So just here I have to remember the fibrils of a hair-like structure or root hairs. Just have to remember, root hairs are mainly responsible for absorption of water, and taproot system is mainly responsible for absorption of minerals. So earlier there was a consideration that there will be along with water, there is a absorption of minerals along with water, but it is later on proved that these are the two independent processes. Independent process, that is the absorption of water and absorption of minerals. So these are the two independent processes. So how the plants absorb water, or which mechanism involves during absorption of water. So before earlier we have studied, that is what is meant by imbibition, what is meant by diffusion, what is meant by osmosis. Imbibition, diffusion and osmosis plays a very important role during absorption of water and minerals. Absorption of water and minerals. So as we know, while growing the plants, water molecules or minerals which are present around the root system, the soil solution and the solution of root hairs and taproot system, their osmotic pressure, their diffusion pressure, their imbibition pressure plays a very important role during absorption of water and minerals. Already we have studied what is meant by imbibition, what is meant by diffusion, what is meant by osmosis. So these things we have already studied. So osmotic pressure, diffusion pressure deficit, turgor pressure, these things plays a very important role during absorption of water. Along with this, the transpiration pull, the mechanism of transpiration, or the transpiration pull theory. There is one more theory, that is transpiration pull, or the process of transpiration is also plays an important role during the absorption of water and minerals. So this is a slight introduction regarding the absorption of water by plants, absorption of mineral by plants. Mainly the whole mechanism of absorption of water by plants. Today we are going to be dealing about, first of all we have to deal about absorption of water by plants. Absorption of water by plants. So during absorption of water, or the mechanism of absorption of water by plants. While dealing the mechanism of absorption of water, there are two processes are involved, that is passive absorption of water and active absorption of water. So what is meant by active absorption of water and what is meant by passive absorption of water? First of all, you have to see the definition of what is meant by active absorption of water and what is meant by passive absorption of water. The active absorption of water means during absorption of water, the energy is utilized in the form of ATP molecules is known as active absorption of water. During absorption of water, the energy is utilized in the form of ATP molecules, then it is known as active absorption of water. Then passive absorption of water means without absorption of water by plants, without using any metabolic energy, then it is known as passive absorption of water. So both of these two processes has been proved experimentally, and these experimental proofs or theories explains, that is the mechanism of absorption of water by active absorption of water and passive absorption of water. So again, in active absorption of water, osmotically active absorption of water and non-osmotically active. Again, there are two types: osmotically active absorption of water and non-osmotically active absorption of water. Then passive absorption of water means, already we have seen, there is absorption of water by plants without using metabolic energy. There are two theories. To prove the passive absorption of water. In that, one of the most important theory which was mentioned for your syllabus, that is Donon's equilibrium. Donon's equilibrium is one of the most important theory which proves the absorption of water by passive absorption of water by plants. Passive absorption of water. So these are the two things. Here you have to be, first of all, understand how the plants absorb water, then mechanism of absorption of water, then what are the different theories with regards to prove the active absorption of water by plants, then what is meant by passive absorption of water, what are the different theories to prove the passive absorption of water. So these are the things with regards to absorption of water. Then similarly, during absorption of minerals by plants, So here also again active absorption of minerals by plants and passive absorption of minerals by plants. Passively and actively, how these minerals were absorbed by plants and their theories. Their theories to prove the absorption of water and minerals by plants. So now the third aspect in this chapter, that is plant nutrients. Details regarding all these things we are going to be will be see later on in next period. Details regarding the absorption of water, absorption of minerals, and absorption of minerals and plant nutrients. So today we are going to be just taking the reviews regarding what are the different aspects is there in this unit. So mineral nutrients. For the growth and development of plants, these plants requires minerals in the form of inorganic elements. There are about 40 elements are there the plants absorb. In that most of the important, there are about 17 to 18 mineral elements are there which are required by plants. So that is nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium. So there are about 17 to 18 elements required by plants, or they are very essential one. The essential elements which are required by plants for their growth and developments are near about 17 to 18. So these inorganic elements which are present in the soil absorbed by plants for their growth and developments. So these are known as plant nutrients. So these plant nutrients again divided into two types, that is micronutrients and macronutrients. Macronutrients means the elements which are required by plants in a large quantities. For example, nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium. These elements are required by plants in a large quantities for the growth and development. Therefore, such elements are known as macronutrients or major nutrients. And micronutrients means the plants requires elements in a very little quantities, or trace elements for their growth and developments. Such elements are known as micronutrients, that is zinc, molybdenum, iron, copper. So these are some of the nutrients required by plants in a very little quantities for their growth and developments. So these are known as micronutrients. So after knowing all these things, I have to study the physiological role